Everything is changing. Thank you for listening to this episode of Tracy Talks. Remember to rate, review, and subscribe, and share with others who would enjoy listening to this podcast. Friends can find Tracy Talks available on iTunes, Spotify, Substack, and YouTube. Follow me on Instagram at More Tracy Talks. I find it interesting that so many of us see the world around us changing. And if we just look at our environment, our climate, and our weather, and not point fingers as to a cause or a reason, there are just statistics that we're changing. And we see the environment changing. We see the weather patterns changing. But what I don't see are people recognizing that we as humans are not separate from the world. We are not separate from the patterns and the environment and the volatility. We all coexist in this world. We are changing as well. We will need to change and adapt to our environments. There seems to be a lot of resistance to change because it's scary and it's unknown and we don't know what's going to happen and I don't know if I'm going to have all my stuff and I don't know if I'm going to have the safety and security that I've always had. And you may not. We are not guaranteed anything. We are not guaranteed everything that we currently have. All of this can be gone in a moment. I have tried to look at what is in my life, and I've tried to become proactive in how I define safety and security. I still have deep connections to some of the things in my life. I still have deep connections to people in my life. And I'm not saying that I want to completely detach from everything because I don't think that that is my path. I am trying to adopt a more relaxed view on who and what is in my life. I go back to the weather. I go back to how we really can't plan or control the weather. We wake up one day and there's a storm. We wake up the next day and there's sun. And I can be upset and angry about it. I can be frustrated and decide to have a bad mood, and I do. But I'm trying to look at all the other aspects in my life the same way that I look at the weather. I am trying to have a looser relationship on what is in my life. I'm trying to relax and detach from controlling the events in my life. I am changing as well. I am part of this world. I am part of this energy network. I am not separate. I am not isolated. We're all impacted by the environment that we live in. I find it completely interesting that people are adamantly trying to hold on to structures. They want to hold on to the relationships. They want things to stay the same. They want everything to be the same. Even if the relationship is broken, even if you are sad and angry and lonely in the relationship, even if the job is unfulfilling, we want to keep that status quo. We want things to stay the same because we know what it's like. We know that we're going to wake up. We know we're going to be disappointed. There's no surprises. There's no shocks. But is that really the way that we have come here to live? Is that really why we're here? Our lives are supposed to shift and change. We aren't stagnant. We don't stay the same. We don't love the same things. We change and we can grow. How can you embrace that in your life? How can you tap into that in your life and not be afraid that something is going to look different tomorrow? Because we're part of this. We're part of this volatility. We're part of this shifting and changing. I am going to be someone who is going to let go and try my best to ride the waves of energy and emotion, the changes. I am going to do my best to know that I am changing, and that's okay. It's okay if I change my mind. It's okay if I change what I like. It's okay if I change who I am. We can practice that in our life. I mean, it's even like how we show up. Some of us are very rigid and strict in how we show up to the world. And we look the same, we act the same, we respond the same. What if you wear different clothes today? What if you respond completely different? And it doesn't matter. If people don't know you, they don't know that. They don't know who you are. Most of them don't care how you show up. I don't want to be someone who is resisting so much change. When it's forced upon me, that it swallows me up, that I can't manage the new situation and circumstances. I don't know that this is going to be a time for all of us just to sit back and wait and see. I would encourage each and every one of you to try to open yourself up to the possibility that the things that you have may not be sustainable. The people that you have may not be in your life. The situations that you have loved may no longer be available. Those circumstances, those events, the world is changing in front of our very eyes. And how can we create a routine? How can we create a system that supports us so we can learn to ride the waves? We are not separate from our environment. We are not immune to what is happening around us. This isn't like the preppers who are prepping for the end of the world. This is more of a mindset shift. Because I don't think having all of the canned foods in the pantry is what is going to keep us moving forward. If anything, it's the mindset that a prepper person has, that they will overcome, they will continue, they will survive and thrive while they're doing it. No one wants their safety and security taken away. No one wants things to really change, especially if it's good. We don't want those circumstances to be taken away from us. But we are resilient. We are capable. And if we look at these changes and we look at how things change, adopting a mindset of, I can get through this, the answers will show up when it's needed. I am here to grow and thrive. I am built to manage everything that shows up in my life. You are built for this. Thank you for listening to this episode of Tracy Talks. Remember to rate, review, and subscribe. Share with others who would enjoy listening to this podcast. Friends can find Tracy Talks available on iTunes, Spotify, Substack, and YouTube. Follow me on Instagram at more Tracy Talks. And until next time, we meet again.